Dr. Oz, he's in some trouble here because in that primary out in Pennsylvania, Kathy Barnette is another Republican candidate there for this primary, and she is surging at the last moment here after Dr. Oz got that endorsement from President Trump, former President Trump. And Fox came to his defense, went on the attack, and made sure, of course, with Sean Hannity here talking with Dr. Oz, that they take down this woman because she can't be the one stepping in and taking up Dr. Oz's shine. Watch this.
Primary season, she tweeted, there's a lot of tweets, quote, "Did you see the last presidential debate? Trump was horrid." Followed up that with, "Trump is just as liberal as Democratic leaders we currently have in office. Morality matters and Trump does not rank high in it." She also wrote, "Trump is good for beers and barbecue, not as a president," and claimed that Trump's moral character is questionable. And by the way, she even tweeted this about me, and there's me, and says, "Oh, Glenn Beck, why does Hannity support unprincipled Donald Trump?" And it gets worse. More resurfaced tweets are even more disturbing. One from her Twitter account in 2016 reads, quote, "Don't we get it? Obama is a Muslim." And there are lots of these tweets. From another 2013, she says, "Please pray for my babies and me. We're about to board the plane to California." And there's a homosexual female and linking out to a Facebook post. So with only 6 days left in this campaign, there are serious, real, open questions about the surging Kathy Barnette campaign and where she truly stands on issues.
It's really weird watching Sean Hannity read someone's old tweets, a Republican reading old tweets. There's fear-mongering about gay folks, and there's also calling Obama a Muslim. Is he against that or is he for that? Like, this is confusing me because that's the Republican line. When you have this many people who are trying to kiss Donald Trump's ass to get any of his endorsements or at least get a good spot in the Republican Party, they're all saying the same thing. So you can't have anything wrong with what she's saying because you say these things. Now, the reason that they're frustrated and a little bit scared of her is because, as I mentioned, she's surging here. And she also ran for a House seat back in 2020 and lost, but maybe she's just getting too much momentum from them. Let's go to some more details, because in Barnette, who's been soaring in the polls ahead of Tuesday's primary, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell would be dealing with a general election candidate who he'd be in opposition. Researchers' dream here, because potentially it endangers the Republican effort to take back the Senate, because she probably does have some issues with her, but more on the general election side of it. So McConnell has been fixated on ensuring that the 2022 midterms are not a repeat of 2012 or 2010 cycles. The Kentuckian and Republicans missed good chances to win the majority in those years because they nominated candidates who talked about things like legitimate rape, as you remember, or had to publicly assure voters that they weren't witches. That was another fun ad that we saw. But her whole campaign and her platform is this pro-life stance, and also that she's the child, she's the product of a rape, which many of them are in support of happening here. So maybe that's part of her Republican draw here. So let's get some details of that. So Barnette, she surged after releasing this powerful video. It says, "It wasn't a choice, it was a life," in which she movingly talks about how her mother was raped when she was 11. And yet Barnette is the living, breathing byproduct of that horrific circumstance. Also, the video hit a nerve with primary voters in Pennsylvania. A source close to one of Barnett's rivals told Axios, and gained resonance following the leak of that Supreme Court draft decision about Roe versus Wade. So Dr. Oz is in some trouble, so he's looking for some help from Fox News and Sean Hannity. I'm just curious if it's gonna work. I think he'll survive, but not because he went on Sean Hannity's show and said this nonsense.
I don't see any way, any scenario under which she can win a general election. That is my 35-year in broadcasting opinion. I want you to respond.
I concur with your diagnosis. She is a mystery. Barnette, they won't answer questions about her record, but what I do know concerns me. And this is why President Trump endorsed me. He said I would win the general election. That's the most important goal for us.
That's all it is, no matter what I have to say, Waz. I'm sorry I cut you off there. Let's go to your thoughts.
No, sorry. I thought you were throwing it to me.
Oh no, I was. It was a bit of, it was a little bit confusing. It's fine.
It was. I'm just shocked that it would be a demerit that somebody would call President Obama a Muslim. Like birtherism and that kind of othering is what got Donald Trump popping in the Republican Party. Like, period. This idea that this would be something that was unfavorable for this woman is ridiculous. Anti-homosexuality is a core tenet and staple of Republican politics. So this idea that's like, whoa, she said mean things about gay people before, that this would sink her somehow with Republicans is stupid. I don't even understand these attacks.
Yeah, well, they have to come up with something. It's hard. It gets, again, the differences are getting narrower and narrower because they're all following behind Donald Trump. That's all they can figure out is how to follow behind Donald Trump. And if everybody's doing it, how do we find out who's the good one versus the bad one? The difference is Dr. Oz was on TV and he was popular. That's Donald Trump's reasoning for endorsing him. He said it out loud. He didn't think it in his head.